came to California to go to college. And in college, I had some time on my hands, so I decided to enroll in a program that had placed volunteers in different organizations, and I got placed in West Oakland elementary schools to be a tutor. And I had no thoughts of being a teacher whatsoever. I was like, no way. I was a geography major. I was actually going to go into urban planning like Kenan, and I ended up tutoring and just getting so inspired by the teachers that I worked with that I decided I would continue and give it a try. So I tutored some more, and then I went into substitute teaching, and I figured, okay, if I can sub in Oakland, I could teach. I could do it. And so I went ahead and got my teaching credential and started teaching. And so when I got my teaching credential, it was the later 90s, and I was at the end of like kind of the whole child thematic units, and it was really exciting because I loved being creative. As a kid, I would watch programs on TV and do all the arts and crafts that they did. Nobody in my family is like that, so they were like, where did you come from? But those are the things that I love, the projects that my teachers gave us to do. And so those are the things that I wanted to bring into the classroom. So I thought, this is great, I get to do this, I have a lot of fun with my kids, and they'll be learning at the same time. And so that's how I started, but very quickly what happened was it was the era of No Child Left Behind. And it became teach to the test, scripted learning, do it this way, at this time, no deviation from the plan, people coming in to check that you had this written on the board and you were doing this at this time. And I found over the years that the time for creativity and fun projects, the things that made my teaching life so exciting and what I felt the kids really resonated with, got squozed down, just smaller and smaller and smaller until it was about this much that I could get away with. And I found my excitement and passion for teaching coming like this too. And I was really burnt out and I was so unhappy, and I felt like there's got to be a better way. I can't continue to do it like this. I cannot come into this classroom every day and teach like this when I know it doesn't work. And the kids aren't happy, I'm not happy. I was at a breaking point, literally. And I'm not sure how I found it, but I found a program through the Alameda County Office of Education, the Integrated Learning Specialist Program. Yeah, it was great. And so I was like, oh, this is so exciting. It was doing more project-based learning. They heavily use practices from Harvard's Project Zero, lots of thinking routines. And this is phenomenal. This is so exciting. And so I took the classes, and I actually got an Integrated Learning Specialist certificate. And I was really excited to try all these things out in my classroom, but I just could not do it. There was no space, no time given. My principal at the time was not on board whatsoever. There was nobody else doing what I was doing. And I didn't have the courage at the time to just go ahead and do it. Because there was so much pressure to teach to the test, teach the scripted program, and keep it moving. Just like cover as much as you possibly could in the year. Eventually, though, I did get so frustrated and just, I can't go on like this, that as I have to make a change. And by then, I was at a new school, same teachers, but a different principal, and we had the opportunity to go to professional development. And so I saw a conference that was Harvard Project Zero, and it was going to be in San Francisco. And I was super excited. I asked my principal if we could do it, and she said yes, and paid for it, and actually invited another teacher, so we went together. And after the weekend, we were on fire. We were like, we have to try these things. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen the TED Talk or what it takes to start a movement. I love TED Talks. Yeah, it's like you need one person who's like really excited and motivated, and like a sidekick who's like willing to follow. And so I felt like we were going to start a movement, and that was the community, the one other person I needed to get me going. So we planned a small scale project that year, and we were so excited. It didn't go exactly as we planned, but that was all right because we were doing something different. And I was like, I don't care what happens. Next year I am doing it. I'm gonna do all projects. We're gonna just really get the arts going again, and I'm gonna infuse the creativity and more student choice into what we're doing in my classroom. So I talked to my principal about it, and she was excited, and she was talking about how she noticed the kids were not engaged, and she'd been looking for something to get kids more engaged in school as well. And her idea was blended learning. And so I didn't know what blended learning was, but I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a try. I mean, anything gotta be better than what we've been doing. And also by that time, the No Child Left Behind had kind of gone by the wayside. Common Core has come in. We felt like this was our moment where there was a little opening, we could squeeze that door wider and really make a change, because there was not that kind of oversight that there had been. And so we decided that we would go ahead and combine project-based learning and maker education with blended learning. And there was gonna be 4 teachers who were gonna give it a try. The teacher that went to the conference with me and 2 others. And then some way we got some additional funding from the district, and a TSA position was made available. And I actually overheard my principal talking about this position at a meeting we were at the end of the year, and I was like, well, at TSA, well, what's the person going to do? She said, well, I thought they'd run the blended learning, project-based learning program. And I was like, oh, have you hired anybody? And she said, no, we haven't. I was like, I'm interested. All right. I gave myself 7 minutes, so I've got a few left. And so, I raised my hand, I was like, yeah, I'm really interested in this. And she said, okay, let's talk. And so that's how I ended up coming out of the classroom 3 years ago, becoming the TSA for Maker Education and Blended Learning, the first year with a cohort of 4 fabulously innovative and risk-taking teachers, because we had no curriculum. We did it all. We just made it up as we went along. We tried stuff out, and it ended up being really hard, but so satisfying. And the kids learned so much more than they had in previous years. We had 2 special ed classrooms and 2 gen ed classrooms. And one of the special ed teachers said that we did a create a creature unit, and the kids had to create their own creature that could live in a habitat that actually existed on Earth. And she said that her kids at the end of the year could still talk about the creature, the habitats, the different habitats on Earth, the adaptations that they had come up with, where they could not remember their nines times table, even though they'd been practicing it all year. Because it was hands-on, in-depth, it came from them, what they were really interested in doing. And so it was a turning point. We decided that we were going to go ahead and try this school-wide. My principal and I came up with a 5-year plan, basically. And so we are now in year 3 of that plan. What's happened since we first started is last year we added another cohort of teachers. I'm lucky enough to teach at a really small school that has about 13 teachers. So this has been doable. Plus, I've taught with them most of them for at least 10 years, so there's a high level of trust. And you had administrative support, which helped too. But through doing model lessons with them and going to workshops together and doing a lot of planning, we expanded to all our 2nd through 5th graders, and we have a large special ed population. So we feel like this is perfect for special ed students because it naturally differentiates. You don't have to do all this incredible scaffolding to give them the content. That's part of what we're doing. And this year, excitingly enough, we have gone full scale school-wide, where the K1 cohort is now on board. They're the biggest one. We have 5 K1 teachers. And so the entire school for the first time is doing maker-centered learning. And we've eased off on the blended learning part. It's just kind of become infused more in their practices. But the maker-centered learning is the big focus. And It's so exciting. I love going to school every day. The kids are really engaged. Like, they come in and, oh, by the way, we also have a makerspace in our school now, which we started last year with all the materials that I've been hoarding for 20 plus years. We started with all those things, and we refined it this year, so we have more kids coming in. So the kids are really excited, and I'm excited to be there. The teachers, even though it's hard work, are also really excited and reinvigorated. And so we have this community, and we support each other, and that's what people need, a community. I had that one person who was willing, and the administrator who was willing to give a chance, and we created a movement throughout our whole school. So that's where I am now. So thank you. I teach at Grass Valley Elementary, so up above the Oakland Zoo. And just to give you a quick demographic of the school, it's 70% African American, most from East Oakland, from the Flats. A third of our students are special ed students, and the rest are Latino.